Okay, so I heard most of you guys, and I think I'm going to try to balance out the private server videos with just regular videos, so to speak. And that is, I think most of you have probably gotten used to them, but I can still see that there is still a few people here and there that don't necessarily like them too much. So I am going to try my very best to balance them out. Most likely going to try to do just one a day when we are in periods like this, but again, it's finding what works and what doesn't, because obviously I didn't upload for such a long time. I need to just see what works for me and of course what works for you guys, but I don't want it to get to the point where it's like, yeah, I'm not enjoying this, because to be honest, that is the most important thing. If I'm not enjoying it, there's no point. Of course it is important that you guys enjoy the content as well, but at the same time, if it's at the point where it feels like a chore more than anything, then I'm going to have to change something up. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a great day. Of course, leave a like, subscribe, and all of that stuff if you do enjoy today's video. If we could get to 500 likes on this one, I would greatly appreciate it. Now, I want to talk about a potential Agility Super Vegito Extreme Z Awakening. And I feel like we could see one somewhat, I say somewhat soon, but I do feel like he is going to get one down the line. And if he does get one down the line, will he potentially be better than the physical one at the very least? Very unlikely that he is going to be better than LR Vegito, just because he is an absolute beast, you know, clearly. So, if I head over to the wiki real quick, just to remind myself and you guys of what he can do. You're not going to be able to see this, but I am going to read this out. Alright, here we go. Limitless Fusion Super Vegito. I remember pardon me, when this guy first came out, there was like such a big division in the community whether or not he was better than Gogeta, and oh my word, was that hilarious. Okay, so of course he gets the free key and a 70% attack, health, and defensive increase to agility types. That will most likely go up to 120%. So if you want to run a mono team, I suppose that's cool, but it's not exactly necessary to run him as a lead. It's just an increase that's there. Immense damage, allies attack plus 30% for one turn. Now, I feel like this is the part where things get very interesting, because he already has immense damage. So I don't know where, like, they realistically cannot take that any further. Maybe add a defensive increase in there as well, but I don't know if that's like that useful. I think that when it comes to that particular super attack mechanic, we aren't going to see any drastic changes most likely. Maybe a small increase, like the attack increase that he gives with the super attack mechanic, but apart from that, I highly doubt it's going to be anything too crazy. Damage received from normal attacks minus 80%. See, the thing about Vegito is that he is still like, despite being the older version, he is still one of the most complete units in the game. His damage output may not necessarily be as high as some of the other units in the game, but he is still an absolute monster. Do not get that wrong. But damage received from normal attacks minus 80%, and keep in mind that most events super attack like once every turn, unless you're talking Super Battle Road. But I think when it comes to the... It's a tough one, really, but I think when it comes to the passive, he is either going to get a flat-out attack increase, or he is going to get the same ability as the physical one, where he gets stronger with every single... every single attack that he takes. I am curious to see which one they go with. I think I'm leaning towards the physical Super Vegito mechanic, but by doing that, there really isn't all that much to differentiate between the two, because you take a look at the STR Gogeta, who did end up getting an Extreme Z Awakening. He turned into a Nuka, if I'm not mistaken, so there was something to, at the very least, make him different from the STR or the Intelligence one. Now, if they are going to do that for the Agility Vegito, I'm not too sure, but I think that they need to... Like, the whole point of an Extreme Z Awakening is to make the older units better than they were before, and potentially even better than the newer versions of that particular card. because it just allows you to use either one, right? And most of the time they do end up being better than the newer version. But when it comes to Vegito, it's tough because the physical one is just so damn strong. And unless they introduce something, I don't know what they could do to that passive to... But unless they introduce something that the physical one doesn't have, I don't know how they're going to change the two. Like, how they are going to be able to make the two differ from each other in at least one way. Because like I said, the STR one, at the very least, he does have the nuking ability, which is something that the intelligence one doesn't. So maybe they are going to introduce something new. We are going to have to see. But if they don't, it's most likely going to have something to do with the physical, you know, Super Vegito counter mechanic, or just the mechanic where he gets stronger with every single attack. Well, every single time that he is attacked. But I think that a flat out attack increase is possible, but there isn't too much that you can do with this card. Like, from the very start, it was always the closest thing to the perfect unit in the game. The only thing that he couldn't really do was, you know, reduce damage on super attacks. So maybe he's going to get that. Maybe he is going to reduce the damage on normal attacks and super attacks, which would be crazy, of course. It wouldn't necessarily help him improve in the, you know, the damage department, but we are going to have to see. Of course, his stats are going to increase as well. Super attack 15, and as you're seeing right here, you know, during this gameplay, his attack stat doesn't reach 1 million, which the physical one can do, but it does take a bit of a build up, which isn't like that much of a problem because you're going to get attacks a lot during a single rotation. It just depends on where the attack's opposition, but for the most part, you are easily going to, you know, going to be able to... Oh, I've lost. But, oh my god, I've actually lost. But, yeah, you are going to be able to, at the very least, what do you call it? You are going to be able to... What was I saying now? Oh my word, I got distracted by what I was saying. I lost. Yeah, I got distracted. And I'm actually kind of pissed. I was saying something important, probably. I don't even know anymore. I said something and it just completely disappeared from my mind. But I think the point is, the Agility Super Vegito is most likely going to get an Extreme Z Awakening at some point. Unfortunately, I don't think he is going to be too much better than the physical one. Maybe he's going to be able to get that build up faster for his attack stat. But, like, these Vegito units were always... slow units in a way, just because they did rely quite a bit on the counters. But we are going to have to see how he ends up turning out if he does eventually get an Extreme Z Awakening. But another unit that I'm looking forward to getting a potential Extreme Z Awakening has definitely got to be the Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken unit, just because he was good from the start, but you could tell that he was going to slowly fade away. Just because of how powerful the Agility Super Saiyan Blue Goku was, the regular one. Yeah, that is one of the hopes for an upcoming Extreme Z Awakening. Of course, we still have a lot of top tier units to go through. Well, we have a lot of units that aren't necessarily top tier anymore to go through. But yeah, we are going to have to see. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Of course, leave a like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Leave your feedback in the comment section down below. I really appreciate it. Like I said, going to try to find a balance between certain videos, and just going to have to see where it goes from there. But for now, I will see you all in the next one. Okay, so before I go, there is actually one thing that I forgot to mention. And when it comes to the Agility Super Vegito, we can maybe even see an increase to his 12 key multiplier, because that would definitely increase his overall damage output. And on top of that, when it comes to the counters, he actually gets stronger with the higher super attack level. So of course you're going to be seeing a massive difference in terms of your counters when it comes to your super attacks, you know, the super attack levels, pardon me. So when he goes up to 15, that is going to be even higher. He is still going to be a slow unit, don't get me wrong, but his damage output is definitely going to be comparable to the physical one. He may not necessarily need the build up that the physical one needs, but we are just going to have to see how that whole thing plays out. Regardless, I'm very excited to see how good they make this unit. It's not to say that he is bad, like I said, but he is definitely in need of a bit of an upgrade. But again, hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and I will catch you all in the next one.